adjust your guys' potter's wheels. That's kind of good. We'll have to see what we can get. Hey y'all, we're going to be doing a lefty and a righty simultaneous private lesson. It's going to be a little awkward at how fast they learn, but you'll get used to it. Alright, squeeze out your sponge so there's nothing left. And every last little bit of drop comes out. Go across your wheel, ending in the center. And go ahead and stop your wheel before it dries out. You can see it already starting to dry, so just go over it with the sponge. Pick up your clay and slam it into the center. Almost the same. So pick it up.
Oh, you really want it?
Yeah, so set it over there. And then squeeze the sponge and do it one more time.
Not too dry.
Slam it down. Almost a slam, but that's okay. It's better slam than over here. And so the issue is that when you have a layer of water on the wheel, you're good.
Okay.
If there's too much water, when you slam it down, it's not going to have enough force to push all the water out.
Okay.
And so it's going to float on that layer of water.
Okay.
But if there's not any water on the wheel, then it won't have anything to push out of the way to make a vacuum.
Okay.
So you need just a certain level. Now after you inevitably miss the center, slide it into the center. See? Much better. Okay. Now try to pick it up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay. Now if you miss the center, slide it into the center. Okay. Now put your wheel on very slowly, almost as slow as the wheel will go. Slower than that. Slower than that, for sure. Oh my gosh. There you go, perfect.
Right there?
Now both hands at a 45-degree angle, we're going to come in and slap the clay. Relax your hands and wrists and just slap. Try not to make a pancake or a tower, but a little bit of both, kind of like a hill or a mound.
Okay.
Welcome guys, you're going to see beginner's lesson here. Alright, go ahead and stop. Put the wheel on 10 times faster. I'll tell you when it's fast enough. I'll tell you when it's fast enough, a little bit faster. Oh my gosh, I should have, exactly. Alright, so, a little bit faster, that's good right there. Great job. See if we can get them a little bit better view. There we go.
Faster there.
Not too sure how they do it in Australia, but I'll tell you, my favorite wheels go both directions. Alright, so, we only have two rules here. One is a two-parter, and that's the first one. And that's if I teach you something, try it. If I don't teach you something, don't try it. Right? Seems a little strange and easy to follow, but it's actually very hard. Okay, you're going to be wanting to try all this fancy stuff. Especially, you're going to want to try and bring it down in order to restart the process. Unfortunately, right now, you're under the illusion that you can press down and make it go down, even though we haven't even started. Okay? So you want to avoid trying anything I haven't taught you, because then at the end, you'll only know how to do pottery, which seems like the goal, right? Okay. Rule number 2, just because you're getting good, don't get fancy. Same thing. You're going to see potential for movement, and you're going to try to go there. But instead, be conservative with your motions until you become really good at it. Okay? Now scoot closer until you feel awkward. Actually, you're pretty good awkward stage right there. Then on your leg side where the wood is, bring it out about 6 inches away from the wheel. Great job. We want to be sturdy. We don't want to be extended outward, and we don't want to be extended inward, because those aren't very strong pressures. Okay? So we want to make it so that our knee and our ankle are directly on top of one another, and we're about 6 inches away from the wheel. Alright, and you're going to be focusing only on your left hand and your right hand. Okay, and that's where we're going to start. The other hand just going to sit and chill while we focus on learning how to use our power. Alright, so go ahead and wet your hands, wet your clay. Be very generous at first.
Oh, I'm using this hand.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It's all good. Alright, then take your elbow and put it inside your leg, not on top. Now if you guys get confused, just imagine there's a mirror right here. Everything you're going to be doing is mirroring one another. Okay? So elbow out a little bit further. By increasing the angle here, it's going to allow you to use more force without the angle collapsing. And that's what we want there. Great job. Now we're going to relax our hand and bring it back. The hard part here, you're going to see the hand's immediately going to try to become tense because it believes it needs to be used. Instead, we want to relax it, which is super hard, and press your leg in only. More leg. As the clay moves up, it's going to get sticky, and now you're going to slowly release. Great job. Go ahead and let go. And do it again. Relax the hand. See how it gets tight?
Yeah.
Relax it. Now, leg only, and don't react, just press in slowly. And now slowly release it. Great job. Now I'm going to bring it down, and you're going to bring it back up. And you're going to keep doing that until you learn how to use your real power. If I didn't say anything, you try to do it with your arms. And although it might be possible, it'll cost all the power that those arms have. Relax it. Go ahead and let go. A little bit too slow. Alright, go ahead and give it a try. Now when you feel it getting sticky, itchy, warm, irritating, slowly release, add a couple drops of water until you get this liquid clay on your hands, and then use that instead of water. This is what some people call a dry method, because we don't use a streaming thing of water. So what's my fault? Go ahead and raise it up. Relax your hand. Bring it back. Now, without using your arm, press your leg into the clay, focusing on the relaxed center of your palm. More leg. More. Now, slowly release it. Great job. That was a quick release, and that's where you got the slight wobble. Slowly release. And then you're going to see a little shadow right there. That shadow represents where the pinky was trying to curve and torque underneath. Focus on relaxing it instead. That's going to be the hardest part about today's class, is relaxing and avoiding trying to press it down. And speed up your wheel about 10%. I'll tell you when. Right there. Oh my gosh, too fast. A little slower. Right, a little slower. Right there, go ahead and give it a try. Now you feel it getting sticky, right? So that's when you slowly release, add a couple drops of water. Relax the hand, leg only. More. Now see how the angle's collapsing? So either scoot closer or bring your elbow out further.
What do you mean?
There we go. Yeah. Now press. So much stronger. Now slowly release it.
So is that true in general? When you feel it's sticky, you should be slowly releasing?
Yes. When you feel it gets sticky, itchy, warm, irritating, jumpy, any of that stuff, always slowly release. Add a couple drops of water, unless you have a bunch of this, then use this instead. Great job. Now you can see a quick release, but it was probably getting jumpy from getting too dry, right? Again. Being too nice. More leg. More. More. There we go. Now slowly, I was about to say slowly release. Only definition of slow here. Go ahead and let go.
So is that still too fast?
You felt it though, right?
Yeah.
So I saw you recover from it, but it was just already a little too late.
Mine wobbled, so I did something wrong here.
Okay, now we're going to go over this real quick. Scoot closer, number one. Alright, so now this appears as though it's moving back and forth. Okay? So now we're going to analyze that just a little bit. Okay? If we were to stop the wheel right now, there would be no movement back and forth, right? You would just see that it's a little bit off-center. Number two, this wheel spins in a perfect circle. And so that doesn't account for any back and forth either, right? It's only when you take off-centeredness and you apply it in a spinning circle that then you get the impression of moving back and forth. Rather, the clay is stationary in one direction, but it's spinning in a circle like a top. Okay? So the last thing that you want to do when this is happening is to believe that it's moving back and forth, because that's going to make you want to move back and forth with it, which is going to inevitably make the clay go more and more back and forth, because it never actually had any back and forth motion in it, not until I started moving with it back and forth. Okay? Instead, remember that the clay's just sitting there at a little bit of an angle, and all you have to do is slowly add your pressure, and then slowly release it. It's an illusion to believe that what you see is truth about what we experience.
So
I know.
And honestly, you'll find out that is the hard part about what we're doing. Is that it's super easy.
I know, it just looks so
It's
easy.
just not easy to do easy things.
Yeah.
Again, now this time, when you get a little bit of a wobble, instead of going faster
Uh-huh.
and adjusting yourself, remember it's just an illusion, and you were only fighting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, go slower and stronger. In other words, more purpose.
Uh-huh.
And the clay will have to do what you're doing because it's not doing anything.
Okay.
Go ahead. Great job. Nice stop. Nice release. Eventually, you'll learn how to cultivate this clay in your hand the whole time, and then you won't have to worry about it getting crazy. Now, see that quick motion? That's what began that wobble. So now
Okay.
continue one pressure all the way through. Now, when you feel it getting sticky, that's when you're going to slowly release it. Add a couple drops of water,
Okay.
and then continue. No matter what you feel, focus only on what you're doing. More leg.
Okay.
More leg. Did you feel the adjusting?
Mm-hmm.
Slowly release it. You had a tendency to believe you messed up, and so you must adjust. It's
Okay.
an illusion.
Okay.
Great job.
Yours looks good.
One more time. See if these guys got any questions. Hey, y'all. No questions yet? Well, if you have any, feel free. I'll be checking about every 5 minutes. Ignore it. Just push right through it. And slowly release it. Feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, throughout the class, about maybe 10 or 12 times, you guys are holding your breath. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's very important.
So this is this much. Do I want to get rid of that?
Keep on using it.
Okay.
This is eventually going to be your best friend. Okay. Again, still hesitating too much? You're worried about breaking the wheel or breaking the clay. Keep pushing. Ignore the wobble. Now slowly release it.
Too much. Too
More
long.
leg. More leg.
More leg. Okay.
Now slowly release. See, it was an illusion to believe that it was any way permanent. It was based off the quick motion. So all you had to do was come back in and then slow motion. And you'll always return it to the center. Now take a look here. Oh, that was so good.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So
Yeah.
go ahead and move your hand real quick. Now, when you press into the clay bends. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So when you let go really quickly, all that you're doing is just leaving it bent. And that's what makes it appear as though it's moving back and forth. So always remember that because of the wobble is up here at the top, this just means it's bent. And all you have to do is add a little pressure and then slowly release it instead. That allows it to unbend to return back into the center. Okay. Now way down here is about 14. So that entire step had nothing to do with wobbles or breathing or anything as best we could. Of course you should always breathe, but I haven't really started yelling at you about it yet. Scoot closer. So that step was all about just learning about using your real power. If I didn't say nothing, you would try to do this with your arms. Okay? Now that seems like the wise thing to do because the arms are strong and your eyes are very closely related to the arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically, again, your eyes and your mind trying to take over an action that can be very physical, something that requires a lot of power. So, instead of allowing you to do what you intend by going and doing it with your hands and arms, I'm teaching you to use your real power. But now you're too strong, right? You both notice that if you just keep pressing, you're going to rip off the wheel. And so you begin to hesitate. In other words, you begin to use less power. In other words, you're allowing the clay to decide what you're doing. But we don't want to do that at all. Instead of holding ourselves back, we're going to learn how to control ourselves to make our power even more useful. Okay? Alright. Now get in your position. Hand back and relaxed. Make sure you have liquid clay or water. Maybe a little bit of both. So you're going to get in your position of power, but you're not going to hold any tension in your hands. You're not going to hold your breath. You're going to relax and breathe. Now you're going to take this hand and bring it all the way around to the opposite side so that your palms are parallel. A little bit less. Right there. Now you're going to want to bring your wrists together, but don't. Keep them parallel. So that when you're pressing in your leg, go ahead. More power. More power. As you're pressing in your leg, now this one can guide it from the opposite side. Now they both move up and neither try to grab it or lift it, and then they both release outward. Great job. And you don't have to go down to release outward, you can just go outward.
Okay.
Again. Right hand to around more, so your palm are parallel. So your right hand, bring it around more. There we go. Now slowly release outward. Next time, release first before you adjust, because that's where that wobble came from. Now press in strong, guide it, but don't grab it. Move up, but don't lift it. And slowly release outward and take a big breath.
I'm gonna mess it up.
Yeah, and for some reason, we think holding our breath is going to keep us from messing up. But remember,
That's the opposite.
our body gets our facilities from having oxygen flowing through your veins. And so, holding your breath to do better is not really that possible unless you're a sniper. I'll give you that. But I get so few snipers in here. A little sticky. Next time, slowly release. Good. Okay, now this one, bring back to your abdomen so you're not overextended. Take this elbow, and then just bring it around like that. Much more comfortable. Now press in, guide by pulling opposite, move up, but don't grab it, and slowly release it out. Great job, but you got too excited, so you let go too quickly. Let go slowly. Don't let the mind get involved, because the mind's going to try and convince you of all this stuff that it believes that it knows. But we don't want to be in the world of belief here as best we can. We want to try and get something like objective reality to you. Go slow, no rushing. Guide it, but don't grab it. Move up, but don't lift it. Faster. And slowly release outward. Very nice. Still a quick release, believe it or not.
Okay.
Whole new definition of slow here.
Okay.
Whole new definition of relaxing. Whole new definition of doing things on purpose. What you're seeing me doing is only possible because it's so easy. It's just really hard to do anything easily. Go slow. Right hand around more. Move up, don't grab. Slowly release out. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Don't rush. See how the wrists try to grab, making too much. More leg. Guide it. Move up. And slowly release it outward. The hard part is that the mental facility is going to try to dictate all these things that the body already knows how to do. But because the body relies so much on the approval of the mind, they get confused. The hardest part is maybe not thinking about it as much, instead focusing on the feeling of motion. And then less water.
Okay.
Great job. Now you can see here, this lump of clay, that he raised his hand a little bit too soon. Right there. That's where you want to start moving.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
I'll show you. Do it again. A little bit too much grab, and then your wrists came around again. Remember, opposite side. So this is good. Put this one around. Now elbow in though. You don't need to overextend. Bring this one around forward. There you go. Now move up and don't grab.
So my palms kind of overlapping my fingers a little bit.
That's exactly right.
Yep. You want me to come up as I do it? Okay.
Again. Hey, much better. Still see a little bit of a shadow, right?
Yeah.
You remember what that means?
That my pinky?
A little bit of grabbing, yeah.
Okay.
This is good. This around without the shoulder. There. Now it's what we all want to do. Now move up, but don't grab it. And slowly release it. Now the reason why we don't want to come around is because every action we make, we want to do it in the way that is the most relaxing. Because believe it or not, we're much more powerful from a relaxed state. When we have all these muscles dictating in all these directions, that's a lot of knowledge for the body to have to, for the mind to have to dictate, right? This little bit of tension here, that tension there, this tension in the tiptoe, holding the breath, all these different techniques, right? But when you come to it from a place of relaxation, you realize just how powerful you are. You don't got to do nothing. It's just really hard to do it that way. Go ahead and let go. A little bit quick on the release.
Okay.
And then raise a little bit too soon as well.
Okay.
Stay longer at the base, because that's where all the clay is actually moving from. Relax the hands. Just move around. Relax this wrist. Very long. So much easier. You know, move up. And it don't even feel like it's moving faster. And that's because it is. That's crazy. Yeah, we get power through relaxation. We get speed through slow movements. Great job. Now everyone take a
Release
look.
too fast.
No. So, once you start to lift,
Uh-huh.
once your wrists think they're grabbing and lifting,
Yeah.
they undercut the clay, and then there's no reason why the clay should stay on the wheel because now it's top-heavy.
Right.
And so you'll just lift it right off.
Okay.
It comes from the illusion of believing that you're grabbing something and lifting it.
Okay.
In other words, your body and mind, or at least your mind for the most part, believes that it's dealing with something solid. And we'll go over in a minute why this isn't solid at all.
Mm-hmm.
So all those ideas of pressing down and bringing it up and pulling up, just an illusion based off of our belief of it being solid. Great job. Are you breathing?
A little bit.
Awesome. A little better than none. Don't let the wrists come in, just the leg. And guide it with the palms. Move up and don't grab it. And slowly release it out. Much better. Still raise a little soon. I'm going to say just an extra second.
So is the goal to get it like a pretty much a nice
Tower.
equally
So I
straight
guess as
towel?
far as general goal or shape is bell curve. Okay. You can also think of it as a single drop of water hitting a surface, and then coming up, and then coming back down. Okay. It's an equalization process that the water has to go through in order to become one. So what we're doing here is very similar to that. It's a really weird way to learn pottery, but I find it to be much more honest. All right, so wait right there. Okay. So now, we've learned how to use our power, but we're too dang strong, right? Which is like my whole life. People will be telling me that. We're too dang strong. So rather than trying to resist our own strength, we have to learn how to control ourselves so we can be even more effective. Okay? Now that we've learned how to be more effective and use our power the way we want it, we're going to redirect the power and get the opposite thing to happen. Same power though. It's not going to be the arms, it's not going to be the shoulder or the chest or nothing. Okay. Left hand in the front for you, right hand in the front for you. Liquid clay and water. Now, relax your hand and wrist. This is going to be the hardest part. Now, relax your shoulder, relax your chest. Don't use your arm or nothing. Just lean your entire body into the clay like you're pushing a car. More. Keep going. Less thumb. See how the hand wanted to take over. More body. Not until the very end. Keep going. Because your thumb starts to move forward. Now, slowly release backwards.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Be happy. Great job. But without the wrist. See how the hand immediately grabs. Ignore that and relax it instead. But I'll be right there in a second. Okay. Watch again. The hardest thing, relaxing the system of muscles that lead to your shoulder. Your shoulder is going to try and take over because it thinks it wants to press down, but it's an illusion. Your thumb is going to try to take over because it thinks it needs to press down, but it's an illusion. Forward only with your body, and the clay collapses into a lower shape. It doesn't actually move downward, it actually expands outward. Okay. Ready?
Okay, this off.
Left hand, elbows up a little, so you're not leaning on nothing. Relax your hand. Whole body leans into the clay like you're pushing a car. Don't use your thumb yet. More body. More. Follow it down so you're always in front. See how it's getting tight? Don't let it. More body and relax.
You
And
want
slowly
your,
release back.
you want to
Now,
your thumb
only use this part of your thumb right here.
Right
Leave
here.
this one alone.
This one. So nothing from here.
Nothing there.
Okay.
All right. Take a look here. Go ahead. When you bend the wrist, that's an upwards pressure. It's tension. It makes the clay want to rise. So what you want to do is relax this point right here until it's nice and stretchy. Now hold your arm into your chest and lean your body forward. More. Great job. Slow release. Now you felt the movement and you added more power to make it move faster. Instead, add more patience so you don't have to work so hard. Okay. Because you can do one of two things. You can add more power or you can take more time. Again, too much down, more forward. Now let me show you what I mean by that. Take a look at that thing. More body. And slowly release backwards. Much better. A little bit too much downward pressure in the front, or when you started. Again. Yeah, it's right out. I got you. Relax here. See, it immediately grips. Don't let it grip because it thinks it needs to be used for power. Now, body only, lean into it. So much easier. Less wrist. And slowly release back. is shape, but all the power is being channeled through the center of your palm from your body. One more time. The hard part is not using your shoulder. Relax the head. And if you're pushing the car, lean into it. So much easier. Just keep going. Now at the end, thumb goes forward. Slowly release back. Now go up and down. So real quickly, before you do, I want you to look what happened here. Now if you look at it from the side, you're going to see a very distinct mushroom shape. Okay? So, this is the true nature of your clay right now. This is what it looks like structurally, without like vision, like the actual structure by feeling.
Yeah.
This is what it actually looks like right now, and I'm going to show you how that happened. It comes from the illusion of thinking that it's solid. I mentioned earlier that it was an illusion, but now I'm going to actually show you what I mean. Okay, so I want you to imagine a solid column of water shooting from a continual source straight up into the air, like a fountain, right? Right. And if you imagine that in your head, the second the fountain reached pinnacle height, it immediately spread out like an umbrella and fell down outward. Now that makes sense to you because you understood the nature of water and you immediately imagined it. Your mind and body were able to produce that imagination, and so that means that you actually believe that. Well, you just don't think of this like water. You think of this as being solid. And so when you think of pressing down on it, you think you're going to make it go down. But just like water, being interrupted by gravity, as it tries to go downward, there's more underneath it trying to come upwards. And so it can't go down. It can only go outward. Okay? Now you can make it look like it's working by pressing down and holding your hand on the side. And what do you know? It looks perfect. Well, it's just an illusion, remember. We don't like to participate in the world of illusion. So that's the true nature of the clay as it went downward with quotations around it. Because instead of actually making the clay go down, I was simply trying to flatten it over the top, and it immediately spread out and created the look of being round. But it's just an illusion.
It's like mushroom.
Just like water, it behaves the same way. And that kind of makes sense in a way, because how could we shape this like this if it was solid, right? There's no way it could hold its own shape and then change a shape, because that would make it not solid. Rather, the clay behaves like a liquid. It behaves like slow-moving water. And now I'm going to show you what that means and how it affects what you're doing. So for this demonstration, imagine a tornado. Imagine a vortex. Imagine pulling the plug in your bathtub and watching the water spiral itself way downward. Okay? Now the reason why we're imagining that, because that's actually more accurate to what's happening when you want the clay to come downward. Rather than thinking that it's moving downward because of your downward pressure, that's what a solid would do. Instead, we're going to imagine what would happen when you interrupt a continually moving vortex of water with outward pressure. You've seen it 1,000 times, you just don't think about it, right? Tornado footage. Why does that tornado twist and turn, right? If it's getting hit by an air current, why doesn't it just snap in half? Because there's more power in the spiral than there is in the sideways motion. Same thing here. There's much more power in the way that it's already moving than trying to deal with it like a solid. So look what happens when you lean into it from the outside. It sucks itself down its own center. I'm not doing nothing but waiting. Because I have no illusion that I'm actually pressing it down. I'm just allowing it to pull itself down into its own center. Don't deal with it like a solid, because it doesn't work that way. Okay, now go up and down. Now we'll take a look here real quickly, just real quick. Even though it's already began to travel like a mushroom, because it's in a vortex, it remembers exactly where it came from, for the most part. And so by returning to the forward pressure, the clay immediately falls right back in every little bit where it came from. Because it has memory. Isn't that awkward? Yeah, super awkward. And that's why it can be hard, because it's actually super easy. Nothing's easier than directing the movement of water once you understand how it moves. Less risks. Leg only. That's your power. Guide it. Now move up. Less risks. There, and slowly release. Now, if it helps, in the beginning, I suggest thumbs together, pinkies out.
This?
I'll show you.
Okay.
To get in your position. Okay. This hand back and relaxed. Pinky out. Thumb in. This hand all the way around. Thumb in, pinky out. Okay. Now, try to resist the temptation of using your pinky as you press in with your leg. And you'll feel the struggle. More. Guide it with the palm the whole time. See how the pinkies are already coming in?
Yeah.
Don't move up, but don't grab it, and slowly release it outward. Now, the reason why we focus on the pinkies out is because they're integral to torquing.
Okay.
They are convinced that they are incredibly powerful at torquing, and so they're going to always want to get involved. When you pull them outwards and you try to torque, you get this weird, thing that happens, right?
Uh-huh.
Great job.
Okay.
Okay, now bring it down.
Oh gosh,
Wait,
this is the hard part.
Relax your hand. Body only. Less thumb. See how the thumb took over? There, now push forward.
Okay.
More body. More body. Don't use the thumb yet. Keep pushing forward, falling down, so you're always pushing forward, never down. More body, and slowly release backwards. See how tight the hand got by the end?
Yeah.
It's just what we do.
Okay.
Okay, now there's only two ways this can happen. Judging by the shape of this, that happened because you were using your leg so much, but not guiding it enough. And so you just ripped it right off the wheel.
So do I need to provide more support with the right hand?
Yeah, because you're getting better at your techniques, your power is getting larger. And so you have to restrict that power and make it go up instead of out. Okay, gotcha. Just so you know, this is not how you add clay back onto the wheel.
How would you normally do it? Stop the wheel, put that on.
Stop the wheel, slam it down as hard as you can. Which has the same end result as what I did, but it's done through a really weird way. Again, very close to what she was doing right there. And when you see the clay bending past center, that's your cue that you're not using enough power to pull it back. Okay. The idea is that any bend past center is wasted energy. And so your right hand brings it back to the center so it's all channeled upwards. Don't get on top, remember. Elbow in towards your abdomen. Relax your hand. Get it on this side. Now lean into it. More. Less thumb. Just body. Relax the hand. Now push. More body. Leaning into it. Keep going. Don't even need the thumb yet. And slowly release backwards. Feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still,
Breathe.
it's hard for me.
Oh, it's going to be hard for a while.
Yeah.
To be honest with you guys, it took me 6 months to learn how to do what I'm doing right now.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Pinkies out. Thumbs in.
Slowly release. Not just because you got excited.
Mm-hmm.
Great
A
job.
little better.
Much slower that time. Too much thumb. Yeah. Relax the hand more. Relax the wrist. See how it's tight? That's an upwards pressure. So relax here. Now lean in. Oh my gosh. It's like you're not doing nothing. Keep going. Keep going. More body, not less body. Slowly release backwards. See how the shoulder took over?
Hands wrist. That's less.
Sounds really good, but you let go too quick. Do it again.
I felt like I was getting
Relax. Lean on it. Slowly release backwards. Now bring it up. Move up.
I feel like the fingers of the left hand are getting pressed into the clay.
They are.
And is that okay?
Yeah. And then relax. See those pinkies? There we go. Move up, but don't grab it, don't grab it.
Am I grabbing it? I think I grabbed it a little bit.
Just a little bit. But not so much.
Yeah.
The hard part,
Oh, the hard
relaxing.
part.
Always relaxing. Hardest part. Elbow in. There you go. Now don't try to get on top, remember. Push it over like you're trying to bend it. Less thumb.
Oh.
Great job.
Whoops.
That's what happens when you use your thumb.
Okay.
Do it again, but without the thumb. Elbow towards your abdomen. Lean your whole body forward, but don't use the thumb. See how attentive it is?
Yeah.
And slowly release backwards. Now, if it feels like you're crushing my thumb with yours, it's too much thumb.
Okay.
Because that's what it felt like.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All right, now over here. Just because you're getting good, don't get tense.
Okay.
Might be a little bit less tall than that. You want to end up with a shape right here. And the only reason that's fancy is because to bring it down requires the most patience. And I don't suggest it on your first try. Okay. So you want to end up with a shape right here. Okay. Okay, relax the hand. See how it wants to become tense? The wrist is always trying to grip. Relax it instead. Relax the wrist. Now, Jesus, oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. Feels like it's doing nothing. Slowly release. Now, right at the end, your hand tighten. Try to get on top. Your shoulder, try to press down. Body over. Now, these things that I'm telling you are really advanced. Don't feel bad if you're just getting a little bit awkward learning how to do this. Forward only. Well, you're pressing down. Remember, downward pressure doesn't work. More body. Slowly release, backwards. The body, or the mind, always believes that it needs to press down.
Yeah.
Much better. Much better. Let's see it. Relax the wrist. Now, lean forward only. Nothing else but body leaning into it, like you're trying to push something really heavy like a car. Less thumb. More body. Better. Slowly release, backwards. Now bring it up. Relax those pinkies. Thumbs together, pinkies out. Move up, but don't grab it. See how they're grabbing? Don't let them. And slowly release outward. Great job. Slowly release backwards. Add more water. Do it again. Breathe deeper. Elbow in towards your abdomen so you can press forward, not down. More body. There. Feel that? Keep going. And slowly release backwards. Still ended up with a straight hand at the end, but you're getting much better at that.
Okay.
It's true. They're saying I talk too much. So true. So true. Less wrists.
And how many people do you have?
Right now, there's 5 people watching.
This is just like live through Facebook?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you guys can check it out and show your friends how awesome you did. Especially if you know anybody that's done pottery before.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing right now is seemingly impossible to them on their first try. Relax the hands, bring the elbow in. Start off with breathing. Exactly. Drop the hand. Drop it. There. Oh, don't get on top. Drop it. Drop the whole hand. Thumb 2. Forward only. Palm into the clay. Try not to get on top of it. Don't use the thumb to the very end. So close. So close. Great job. No, you did really good too, but the hand tightened.
Yeah.
So close.
So close.
Now bring it up.
Okay.
Lindsay DeRussell, if you're still listening, I'm sorry I missed that comment. What are you asking about? Ooh, quick release. Great job, but let go slower instead. Slowly from both sides. Outward. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to address the tiptoe. No tiptoe.
Okay.
I was giving you time to work on that, okay?
Okay.
But they're connected. The reason the tiptoe is coming up is the same reason the wrists are grabbing, because they're actually very similar muscles, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Down. This is
A
hard.
little bit less wrist, relax it more. When you see the bend in the wrist, that's an upwards pressure. There we go. See the shoulder relax? Much better. Whole body leans in like you're trying to push over a car or a heavy human, less downward. Less downward, less downward. Now more forward. So much easier. Thumb at the end, forward. Slowly release backwards. That was a quick release.
Okay.
And like I said, all these things I'm telling you, really advanced. So don't feel bad if it seems like I'm nagging on me. See that tiptoe?
Yep.
Great job, guys.
Tried to muscle it too much.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that nice? And the more you learn how to relax, the more it'll feel like you're just hanging out. And your body will start to do almost all this on its own. Keep following with it. Don't get on top of it. Perfect. Keep going. A little bit more from the bottom forward. And slowly release. Oh my gosh. Who would have thought pottery was so easy?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It seemed more complicated than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, we knew it was going to be complicated.
I knew it was going to be hard, but you never know what that means until you actually do it.
Well, let's call this hard and just act like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
This is actually super easy. My first couple months on the wheel was filled with rage and shame.
Oh.
Move up and slowly release.
Self-taught or what?
Mm-hmm.
Really? How'd you teach yourself? YouTube videos?
I bought this pottery video. No, there was no YouTube. YouTube was around
Yeah.
for like 3 months when I first started doing pottery. But as far as I know, there weren't any pottery videos out.
Yeah, probably not.
No, I just sat alone in the dark on the potter's wheel and just tanked it. Great job, less thumb, more forward from underneath. Much better. You can feel the expansion now. And slowly release and breathe. Great job.
Getting this little thing now.
Yeah, that just comes from using a little bit too much of this top part. When you
Okay.
only need, take a look here, you just need about that much pressure forward. It's very tiny.
Okay.
You're just using it for an angle, not for power.
Okay.
You zone it.
That's what we thought when we get this membership. We need to relax more. We thought it would be relaxing.
That's exactly right. And that's why I teach it this way.
Yeah.
Because I could teach you to do this the brutal way, using all your strength and holding your breath and chest muscles and arm muscles. I definitely could. But would you be able to get away from the technique and become better outside of that?
Yeah.
That's another story. And so by adapting things that I found to improve our general health and teaching it that way, then it makes it so we can do two things at once. Good job,
That's
guys.
ready to go back to exercise.
I'm having trouble with the down.
Keep going. Push forward from here. There.
Okay, like
Slowly
more of a
release.
flat.
Not necessarily flat, but it's all palm.
Okay.
When you press forward at the top here, and then this one drips, you leave a little bit of space there, and the clay then can go out.
Okay.
Right hand around more, and more right hand. Slowly release. And bring it down. Way to do it. Yeah, what I do is I squeeze it up this way.
I just did it.
It's okay. And remember, put it back on.
Okay.
And remember, there's two ways that can happen. Both are equally likely.
Okay.
Once again, given the shape, I would assume you were just being too buff. Weren't controlling your line, right?
Okay, yeah.
The other option is lifting. Now,
Okay.
because of the shape, it doesn't seem as likely that you were trying to lift.
Okay. I think I was trying to buff it.
Great.
Oops. Oh, goodness.
A little slower. Right. A little faster. Faster.
Petals.
Oh, it does that. Don't worry.
Yeah. Is that better? Okay.
Now, so this is a little faster than you were going,
Okay.
which means that you're going to have to be more relaxed and a little
Okay.
slower. Great job. That's good. should start to feel like second nature.
Okay.
Takes a while, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
It's not getting there yet.
But eventually you'll realize just how hard you were working.
Yeah.
When in fact it could have been so much easier and softer. Now bring it down.
So they realize how much clay you lose just from.
Only because of the way that you're learning. Eventually you don't need to bring it up and down this much. What I'm waiting for is a certain level of confidence.
Okay.
Once you feel a certain level of confidence, both mind and body on the way up and down, then I'll teach you how to make something. Because until you give your body positive chemicals associated with its actions, then it won't memorize, because it's a very, very honest and trusting creature, your body. So it needs those confident chemicals that allow it to then give emotions automatically and slowly release backwards. And that's why when I say try not to think about it, it's because there's going to be all these thoughts associated with critique that your body is going to be receiving. And so until it feels that confidence, then it's going to want to change its opinion. Go slow, watch those wrists. No left, don't grab it. That's perfect. Keep going in this wrist and slowly release out. What do you want to make?
It's not fancy, but it's still cool.
Honestly, just about anything except for bottles and teapots.
Okay. I need a bowl. I want to make a bowl.
A
cup.
No sculptures.
The sculptures. Okay.
Maybe like a large coffee, a wide coffee cup.
White coffee cup. Okay, you got it. The only difference between what you guys are making is the starting cylinder. Too much down, more forward, from underneath. And you'll feel it suction towards your hand. And slowly release back.
Okay.
Okay. And you said a bowl?
Yeah.
And so that means that you're just going to start off with a lower cylinder because that's what we're going to want.
Okay.
Now, how often are you guys going to be able to come in?
Once a week, probably.
Once a week on
On
Sundays?
Sundays, probably. Yeah. Maybe on Saturdays.
On
Saturdays.
Okay. So
We
this-
work till like 3 o'clock usually on Saturdays.
Okay. With these ones then, we're going to go ahead and just put them through the process so that you can glaze them when you guys
Okay.
come in, whenever you guys decide. And then after that, when you're taking, when you know that you'll be able to be here for at least one lesson a month,
Yeah.
we'll start moving forward.
Okay.
Okay? Until then, I just want you to come in, have a good time, relax, make stuff. Don't worry about what you make, just make stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll go over the trimming as you get better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're moving on from the hard part to the easy part. The hard part was relaxing and being patient and moving slowly. Now we're going to do the easy part, which is making something. Okay. Easy because we're going to use our hands and eyes for everything. Okay. Take your leg, put it on the ground. Too dang buck. Right? He's like, what am I going to do? Now, take your left hand and put it up against the side, and you're going to put your right hand up against the side. Now, from now on, you're too strong, so you're not going to use your leg anymore. If you want, you can just lean on top of your own leg. Okay. So your hand's just going to sit there. It's not going to push, nothing. It's just going to sit there nice and steady. Now, with your left hand up against the side like this, take your right thumb and point it backwards for you left. And you're just going to act like we're in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Take the bony part of your thumb and put it right down in the center, but don't press with it. Put your left thumb on top of it and push down with your left thumb. And then slowly release upwards. What that step does is it engages the vortex to begin to suction itself downward, and because of that, it automatically moves out of the way of your bone. Okay, so left hand against the side. What you got? Perfect. Left hand against the side, take your right thumb and bend it 90 degrees. Just like you're trying to touch the center of your palm. Once you do that, bring it back up so that it's vertical. Put the tip in the center, but don't unbend it. Leave it bent. Put the left thumb on top of it, and just like before, press with your left thumb. Great job. All the way till your thumbnail goes through, and slowly release. You need about 1/2 inch tops. Grab some liquid clay and drop it in the middle. No water. Slowly release. Great job. So now we're going to grab liquid clay, drop it right in the middle. No water on the inside. Once we've opened up our center, we never want to add water because it'll just slowly degrade the center.
Okay.
We just want this liquid clay. time, take your right thumb and point it down on top of your left wrist, and then flatten your hand above the clay with your thumb pointing straight down. Yes, almost. Like that. Okay, now using these two middle fingers right next to each other, keep them straight and pull them back to the center. Oh, get that thumb out of there.
Sorry.
It's all good. Right into the center. Oh, keep them straight. Both of them. There. Now, as if they were one finger, press straight down the center. Lift up a little. Now press. And it'll suck you down. Right there. Now press. Half inch, slowly release. You want to go to a half inch from the bottom, no lower.
These two fingers.
These two.
The middle two, yeah.
Good job. Way right there. Okay, so push on your own wrist on that cavity right there. Now get this thumb out of there. So slowly release. Slowly release. Now get that thumb out of there.
Okay.
No. Like,
Oh, like
get it
out of there.
There we go.
Alright.
Okay. Now push on your own wrist. And that's because we don't ever want to accidentally oppose the clay. Keep your fingers straight and right next to each other like that. Now press. There we go. Now slowly release. Great job. A little bit quick on the release.
Okay.
The tiniest wobble. Now go
Okay.
slowly next time.
Okay.
Liquid clay in the middle, water on the outside. Okay, left hand against the side, right hand over here for you. No leg, remember, no tiptoe either. And more breathing. Middle fingers back in the middle where they were, but don't ever press down ever again. Now this time, take your left thumb and bring it to the back of your left hand. Now using the power of your thumb and keeping these fingers straight, pull your fingertip towards your thumb and don't go up or down. Stay right at the base. That way. More fingertip. More. There you go. You're going to keep going until you get a vertical wall. More. And slowly release. Now you should have felt a substantial amount of downward pressure.
Yeah.
And that was to resist all that upwards pressure of trying to
Okay.
come up. Okay? Now, believe it or not, this right here is your low point, and then you went up as you went across,
Yeah.
despite all that downward pressure.
Okay.
So next time, nice and flat. Like that. Now in yours, you have your thumb folded over, so it took up the perfect shape of your hand. To do it again, go with the hand straight. Middle fingers lead, so get your first finger out. There we go. Don't be sorry, be happy. Now squeeze over towards your hand, but keep your left hand straight. More fingertip, left hand. There, keep going. And slowly release. Still a little bit of thumb, that's okay. That's why it has this inward motion there. Took the shape of that part of your thumb. So more like this, like that. Like that. That way your thumb's not pushing the clay back in at the top. Now luckily, you guys have a copy of this lesson so that you guys can use it
Yeah.
and watch it and do all this stuff. Okay, now look. Low point here, and as you went up, you went across. So do it again, all the way from the center.
Do you want me to come straight across?
Straight across. Good. Good. Stay right there. I'll hold you down while you go across. Slowly release right there. Now you should have felt a little bit of chunk of clay come off.
Yeah.
And that's because no matter what, when you press sideways one layer over another, they're not going to stick back together and they dislodge. That's why we want to do it all in one step. But that's okay. Now liquid clay in the middle, water on the outside.
Where do you get the liquid? Like,
Either from
the
your
bottom?
hand or from the wheel, no.
Oh, okay, not the bottom.
No chunks. You just scoop your hand like that, get a big old layer of it, and then just squeeze it in. Okay. Now over here, we see a little shadow.
Yeah, that's right.
And that comes from bringing it out further. No, you're just, okay. That comes from bringing it further than where your original wall was. So instead, you're going to take your wrists, touch them together. Relax your hands and close them around the clay. Push forward with your body and pull back with your fingertips and slowly release outward. And that's if you accidentally bring it out too far. Okay. Liquid clay in the middle, water on the outside. Let's come to it. See how the thumbs want to come in? Bring them out. There we go. Now slowly release outward. Liquid clay in the middle, water on the outside. It's a lot of liquid clay. I'm going to share some of it.
Thank you.
All right. Left hand begins this side. Now, the next step starts off with a hand gesture. Sorry about that. And that's butterfly. And if you know sign language, actually moth. Fingers together at the tips. Take your right hand and curl the bottom 3 fingers into your palm.
Which part is right now? Or my right hand?
Your right hand.
My left hand.
Yes. All right. Then, you're going to take these 3 fingers and you're going to put them on the outside at 7 o'clock. Like this. You're going to keep your thumbs locked and put your first finger on the inside. Right across from the outside fingers at 7 o'clock. Right there. Now, instead of bending this and trying to go that way, take your elbow back that way. Almost all the way to the wall. Right. There you go. Good. Now, slowly approach till you touch 7 o'clock. And that's what you're doing. Rather than having a bend. Okay, thumbs locked, first finger in. Right across from these ones. First finger. So this finger is right there.
Okay.
Now, from the inside, press out towards your outside fingertips. Hold steady for just a second, and then move up along the wall, just like when we were centering. Now, when we're moving up, remember not to lift, but rather just move up with the clay as it's already beginning to move. Then slowly release, take a big breath, and you're going to do the wrist technique again to bring it back in. And that happened just because you were moving out as you went out. Watch those thumbs. Okay, do it again. Ready?
Yeah.
She's like, I was born ready.
Alright, so these 3 fingers.
Okay,
These thumbs.
so watch
Wow.
out.
Okay.
Go open these up. These 3 down here at 5 o'clock for you.
Okay.
Right there.
These 3.
First finger at 5 o'clock on the inside, the thumbs locked. Okay. From the inside, softly press against your own fingertips, and then deliver the pressure upwards just like when we were centering, and then slowly release outward before the top. Looking good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can see your wall is progressing outward, so that just means that as you're pressing out, you're moving out too.
Oh,
So
okay.
take your wrists, and you get to do this fancy technique. Push forward, and slowly release backwards. Liquid clay, and bring it up again. Oh, no. Moth or butterfly.
Oh, alright. So,
3 here, 1 here.
these 3.
And you still got plenty to go.
So you're going to keep.
You're going to keep doing that so you get as tall as you can, but pay attention that it doesn't get too thin at the bottom. It should always be thicker at the bottom than it is on top. Great job. Moved out again, but that's okay.
Okay.
Do it again, but go up only. I'll show you what I mean.
Okay.
Go ahead. Next time, more liquid clay. Okay. So, from the inside, press out. Now hold. Now move up only. Keep going. Now slowly release it. And do it again. That was really good. A little bit fast on the release, believe it or not. Don't forget every time, a little bit of water on the outside, liquid clay on the inside. Now, if at any time you're wondering how thick it is and if you have enough more room to go more, just come in here very softly with your fingertips. Right hand, left side of the wheel. Left side. Like that. You always want to do everything in a non-oppositional way. Always allowing the clay to travel right through your hand. And then you can glide up and down the wall and feel where it's thick and thin. You feel all that?
Still seems pretty thick.
It's super thick, right? So then I want you to go back in and bring it up taller. Now that you're more informed as to where your thicknesses are. 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
So it's a little bit too fast.
Just ever so slightly too fast. Could have done it, but this is going to allow you to make more mistakes. When you do things very quickly, your mistakes are very big. When you do things very slowly, your mistakes are much smaller. And you can actually tell what you did. In fact, there's a term. I don't know what happened. It happened so fast, right? So if we want to know what happened, we should do everything slow. Let's slowly release it. That was super good. However, a little too much power. You brought up a lot at once. So if you would have made a mistake there, it would have ripped right through the wall. So next time, a little bit softer. Okay. Did you see how much taller it got?
Yeah.
Like over an inch off of that one last motion.
So here it's a little bit too played out.
Okay, so now your top half's done. So now you're going to focus only on the bottom half. But yes, you are welcome to do this technique. at the bottom as well. You're going to start the pressure at the bottom, and then you're going to deliver it up. Everything starts at the base. Body, move up, and slowly release out. Awesome! Now bring it taller. Remember, focus only on the bottom. All the clay is at the base. Your top half is completely done. Whole hand if you need to. I can put more whole hand if you need to. Yep. Slowly release. She's like, I was breathing until you came over here. Now slowly release. You got it all the way to the halfway point. Leave the top alone. Go back down and work on the bottom half again. So for you, it's going to be left hand, right side. You're just going to slowly glide. Yep.
Okay, that's just like this?
Yep. Always allowing the clay to pass through your hands. Not trying to interrupt it as it's going towards you. Okay. And that's going to allow you to feel the clay.
Okay.
Okay, now that should have told you that you got a thin spot about right here where my fingertip is, and then a thick spot underneath it.
Yeah.
So wrists together. Relax the hands. Touch the clay. Lean forward with the body. Very slow. Back with the fingertips by pulling towards you. More body. Now move up. Now slowly release it outward. Alright, let's see what you got. Before you move on, feel the wall and take some time to breathe. Exactly. Okay, so that feels really good. You have a tiny amount of clay here. It's actually almost perfect. So I want you to do it one more time from the bottom all the way to the top. Softest you've crushed yet. See what I mean? Where is it then? Oh no, it's basically perfect. So now I want you to thin out everything evenly all the way to the top. Same amount of pressure, distribute it all the way. Very small amount. Starting to feel real thin, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Still have it right there.
Let's see. Yeah, it's just ever so slightly thinner there. But you do have a little bit more clay at the bottom. I want you to bring it up. Now slowly release it. And that's because we want to leave it a little thicker at the top. Awesome.
So did I? Okay.
No, just this little point right here. This should always be a little pearl because you want it to be stronger than the wall underneath it. Okay. Okay. So now we've gotten as tall as we need it to go. I want you to make it more vertical again. And that's perfect right there.
Okay.
But use this technique, make it vertical again.
Okay.
We always start all of our pieces from a vertical cylinder here because we want to engage in like the mathematics of it. It's a little bit easier when you move from cylinders into other shapes. Slowly release it. I think, I'm not positive, but I think this was my first semester's class assignment.
Oh, really?
Or you should learn it.
Like a 4 or 5, well, when I actually ended up taking the class. I taught myself in my garage with the pottery wheel that I bought with the student loan, that one right there. And
That's your trusty polish.
because I was in a pottery class, tile making, and they wouldn't let us use the wheel.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know that I was ever going to take a pottery class again. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do an investment. This seemed like a very relaxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bought it. Yeah, it wasn't at first. Bought the wheel, taught myself. And then later, after I'd been doing the wheel for so long and not having a kiln or glazes, just making hundreds of pieces of pottery without any way to do anything with them, I was like, okay, I have to take a class. And I slowly snuck in all my pottery. Okay, so now we're done with all of our liquid clay.
So, just
Yeah, you can squeeze some of that off your hands.
in here or
No, on the side. And so what I'm doing here is removing all the liquid clay from the center. And that's because now that we've extended our cylinder and we have a very specific size of our base, no water because we want it to now get stronger as we move along. And to make it stronger, we need to remove water. Because actually, believe it or not, water is the enemy of a clay piece. Because it's going to be slowly degrading all that wall. Okay, now, reach inside your bucket and grab your other tool.
Want to show you? Oh.
kidney tool. Some people call it a rib tool. I'm pretty sure both of those anatomical things have been used in the past. Pretty sure if you dry out a kidney, it becomes like a leathery texture thing and you can use it. Pretty sure. But it could be just because of the shape, kidney bean. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. No trouble, guys.
They're like Google.
All right, so she wants to show you how to do this. She remembers how hard it is, and so she wants to show you. I really appreciate it. So you're going to take this, and this is for the bowls only. Okay, you're going to take this and hold it with your pinky up for you, because we don't want to try and turn.
Okay.
We want to keep the pinky up with our tool always facing forward in the direction of the spinning wheel at a slight diagonal on our fingertips,
In my left hand.
like that.
Okay. Like that.
Okay, a little bit less, right there.
Okay.
Now move this hand the other way. So now, you're going to start over here at 5 o'clock, just like before. That's the optimal pressure for the spin.
Okay.
Then, from the interior at 5 o'clock, you're going to press out towards your right. With the face of the tool. So come up a little bit.
Oh,
Right there.
So right there.
Okay, and then keep going till it matches your tool right there. Now go down into the bottom corner. Watch your wrist. Lift up a little. There we go. Now, when you get to that bottom corner, you're going to feel a tug. Oh, I would say
No,
stop.
right there, okay.
Keep going. When you feel that tug, let me know.
Tug.
Okay, now press harder downward.
Okay.
Harder. That's the tug. I'm going to let go. You ready?
Yeah. Oh.
Go back. Go get into that tug again. Pull back a little further back. Right there. Okay, now get into that tug by pressing into it. You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, now resist the tug. Bend your knuckles out over the edge. And move up while you do that. Now release slowly into the interior. Great job. Now I'm going to make you do it again.
Okay. That's hard.
Best and worst thing about learning something. I'll just make you do it again. Okay, a little bit more forward, like that. Now outward, ever so slightly. Okay, now hold that pressure and deliver it down and lift your wrist up a little so you don't hit the wind. And when you get there, you're going to feel a tug. There it is, but push harder, and that's going to be a real tug. And then you're going to pivot your knuckles out over the edge, and then you're going to move up while you pivot. And then you're going to release towards the center, and that's going to allow you to do the motion again. Now you increase your outward pressure as you went up, and that's why it's a little bit wider here than it is there.
Okay.
And you're going to do it again. Great job. All right. Now, in case you want to see him do it,
Yeah.
he's going to be making something cup-shaped. And so that means that we're going to start off with something cup-shaped. When we do the other way, we start off with something bowl-shaped. At a diagonal. Okay, so you're going to start off with something cup-shaped. Hold it in your right hand, right along your first finger, whole finger, and then whole hand forward, like that. Okay. Now, whole hand in. Keep your tool slightly forward, remember, never towards yourself. So slightly forward, more like that. Just 1 degree is all you need. Now go on to the bottom corner here at 7 o'clock. Of course, huh? And when you get to that bottom corner at 7 o'clock, you're going to feel a slight tug, press outward into the wall, and then move up along the wall. You're going to go all the way to like the width, and you're going to release in towards the center. Okay. Now you're going to do it again.
So my hand is too big, I need to do like.
Yes, you need to take the elbow up. That's exactly right. And remember to straighten the hand so it's up being wide and becomes more slippery. So, like that. Yeah, much easier. Pull towards you to keep it from tugging you. Pivot outward with the top of the tool. Move up while you pivot, but don't go out, just up. Then release in towards the center. Perfect! Enjoy it or destroy it. That's your next step. Enjoy it or destroy it. Now, if you release in the middle, you end up with a belly. And you have to decide what kind of shape you want.
Yeah.
So look at it from the side. You see the belly that you made? And if you want, I can start you over. Or you can do the wrist technique to start over yourself.
Typically, I always want to put it back again.
As long as you don't, you can sit it on the table inside the bucket. The important thing though is that you don't introduce water to the middle. And so I usually leave it on the rim right here. Like this. So do you want to bring it back in and start over, or do you want to keep going?
I like it.
Oh, just as it is?
Well, I don't know.
Completely up to you. We're going to keep doing this step until we either enjoy it or
Okay.
destroy it. You basically can do as many steps as you want here. Just trying to stay within structural integrity.
Okay. I think I enjoy it.
So,
Make it a little bit
I
better.
kind of closed it off here, so
That's okay. So
take
you
it
gotta
out. What do you
take
do?
your hand and just push it in.
Okay.
Is it this way? Is that right?
So, like something that has the belly.
Okay, so that just means that you don't want to go up so far before you release. You want to press out, bring it up about there, and then release it in the middle.
Is this the angle that I want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very soft. All you want to do is guide it to that bottom corner, and that's when you do your bend. Get the top out. The other way.
Oh.
There. Now move up, and release towards the center. As you get better, I'll teach you all kinds of different styles of bowls.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
This is a nice beginning bowl because it only has one thing you have to do, which is to bend the wall out.
Okay. I enjoy it.
All right. Wash off your wheel
How do you wash it off? Just
with your sponge.
oh, okay.
Full hand, remember, not the bent wrist. There you go. Elbow up above. There we go. Touch the left wall at 7 o'clock and slightly and softly press outward. Lift up until the belly is where you want it and release toward the center. Keep doing that until you get the belly you're looking for. And you can always reset it back to the vertical.
I mean, I guess I'm questioning how far I can push it.
To a 33 degrees. After it reaches past 33, it'll collapse under its own weight.
So what does that look like? Is that usually out? Okay. Oh, that's pretty far.
Then it'll collapse. It's pretty far. Like right now, you're like at about 60, so you can cut that angle in half. Do you like it as it is?
I think so.
All
What do
right.
you think?
Oh, it's good.
You like it? Okay.
Whole hand. There we go.
That's
So that happens when you accidentally turn the tool towards yourself. In other words, the place coming, you're trying to scoop it. It's getting caught, and then it jumps, and then lands, and jumps and lands. So, slightly forward. The tool is always being pulled forward, and I'm not interrupting the player as I'm supposed to. Okay? Even if it's only 1 degree. Do you like it as it is?
I do. I like
Alright.
it.
Lovely. So, these things I'll teach you as you get better. You're going to be trying them on your own when you come in on your own later. And so that's going to be ever so slightly adding a tiny amount of downward pressure in the center. Back and forth along the right side for you, left side for you. Until you get a nice and equally feeling dance. Then, you go ahead and round off the rim with the same purpose to make it more dense and nice and round. And slowly release it. Last but not least, you're going to take your finger and slowly undercut the clay. It's very important that you go underneath it because you don't want it to drag outward. That'll allow it to be a very thin layer of clay and it'll reseal when you try to take it off.
Oh, okay.
Now go ahead and stop the wheel. Now cross your fingers.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you. Need every little bit of help we can get.
Yeah. It looks really good, Matthew.
You got like a nice big line in there.
Yeah. Cool. So the line happens when you skip areas. So the first time you brought it out, you made a certain amount of motion, and you went a little bit higher than you went the second time. Because of that, it's further out in that little line. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, to bring that together and unite those two layers, just make sure you go up a little bit further. And press out towards the left. And now it's floating on water, like we warned against in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I figured out that we didn't want to leak too much water on the wheel. It floats right off. Now go ahead and wash off your wheel.
Still got that one.
Let me see if I can help you out. Oh yeah, but you got rid of almost all of it. That's good. Compared to when I first saw it. Now sometimes it requires a little bit of steady pressure on the outside. I don't suggest that at the beginning. And you just come in and press against it until that line goes away. It's all about an unequal pressure.
Oh, I'm happy with it.
Just as it is.
Well, so I guess my question is, if this is going to be a top, right? I think like a shell, you would cut it off. I don't know. You tell me. I mean, what is what is this really shaping up to be?
So honestly, I'm more of a Greek in the sense of like how things are used. So this is going to be a cup if you drink out of it. Does that make sense? Because I've seen every form of cup. Well, nearly every form. And I've seen thousands of cups just like this one. And so how you use it is going to be what to call it, if you ask me. And so if you're going to end up drinking out of this is a perfectly shaped cup. Okay? If you're going to do something else with it, then it'll be a perfectly bad. Depending on what you're wanting out of it. So, is this something that you would drink out of? And that's going to be your answer as to whether or not to finish if you want it.
It looks like a bowl more than anything else.
Imagine.
Use it for something.
Imagine a handle. Not that this one's going to have one, but imagine if this sucker had a handle. All of a sudden, it just became a coffee mug, right?
Right.
And so that means it probably is a cup, if you can imagine it has a mug. Because the only thing difference between the two is that. But you're more likely to see this as a mug than you would a cup.
Okay. Sure, let's go.
Now, do you want to change the shape in any way?
If I wanted to lower everything or just make the
Oh, okay,
ball
so
not
make
so
it
high.
more like a teacup?
Yeah, I'm thinking more. You know, there's like big cups.
Yeah,
Like
like
cups that are as tall as
Like a cappuccino cup.
Yes.
Okay. So you're actually almost exactly there, but like you're saying, it comes out into the top.
Yeah.
So if we focus on the area where it starts going inward right there,
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Alright.
So it has some belly to
It's
it.
your choice.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said it's your choice. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Stop the wheel. It should just peel right off.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
That looks great.
Now turn your wheel back on. A little bit faster. One more. Right. We're going to round off the rim now. We don't want any 90 degrees. We don't want any more acute angles because then you'll cut yourself. That's these things are being used because you'll have a very sharp edge. So we always round off the edge, which makes it more dense, lower surface area for volume. Makes your pieces take more damage before they just one day explode. That's kind of how I want it to go out.
I like that.
Like this guy we're buying our land from, belonged to his father. His father was an engineer for Santia, and one day he crushed himself to death with his tractor.
Oh my gosh.
To which me and my lady responded, "How lucky!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he died doing what he loved
Yeah.
in a way that was his own.
Yes, that's
You know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
It was quick.
Most people have very little choice about how they go out.
That's true.
But he just so happened to figure out a way on accident. So he ended up dying in the beautiful mountains
Yeah.
with all the trees and animals around him.
Uh-huh.
Roll and get the style out space.
Okay.
Then go to the center and make it nice and equally dense. And double check. Now, do you like that bottom, or do you want me to make it more round underneath?
You're talking about like out here?
Yeah, just this little base part.
Yeah, let's make it more really nice. How would you do that?
Slowly peel away layers. your wheel.
Looks good enough. Yeah, I like it. I like it shorter.
Yeah, it looks better shorter.
Yeah. It looks more like a traditional.
Boom. And that thing has a real thick bottom, which means it's going to last forever. You can wash off your wheel. Okay. So, you do officially have about another 10 to 15 minutes if you want to have fun on the wheel just making random stuff. You're welcome to.
Okay, awesome.
And if that's the case, get all the clay off your hands inside of your bucket, or you can use the bucket at the sink, and then you can cut yourself a piece of clay. Never grab the bags with clay in it.
Okay. Makes sense.
I try to make it as much sense as possible, but it's really hard.
No, you're making sense.
Would you say you hear me?
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to clean back there. Practically an expert already.
So this is the clay that we're
Exactly.
using? That's more difficult clay to work with. Okay.
So where is this clay usually held? Like if you come in and
So there's a few places, either on this table, the hand building table on the other side of the wall, this bucket,
Okay.
or right when you walk in the door, in the red door, there's a bunch of boxes of clay on the floor.
Okay.
where's your cup?
Yeah, this is a pretty cute one, isn't
It
it?
is.
Just once again, to show you that it doesn't have to be perfectly round. It
Yeah.
has a really beautiful cup shape.
It is really cool.
So you made that on the wheel and then you intentionally.
Yeah, there's this sleeves on the side. I didn't make it. That's how it was made, yeah.
When you take it out of the bag, or you leave it in the bag?
Pull the plastic out so you expose about maybe 3 inches of clay.
Okay.
And then once you're there, thanks for watching, guys. They really appreciated all of your input.